Somebody sent me this video, not a nice view at all. You know, we'll always tell the truth. And I know the truth sometimes feels like a slap in the face. The truth sometimes feels like a targeted move. Hate, jealousy. The truth sometimes feels like pili pili, bitter, pepper. The truth sometimes burns like fire. But don't shoot the messenger. Face the truth. Face the situation and perhaps find a solution to it. Before I continue to speak, I'm gonna play the video. I think it's gonna make more sense. What's up, everybody? I hope you're doing good. It's a beautiful day. Thank you very much for stopping. My name is Zack. It's your first time. Thank you. We appreciate you here. We want you to watch. We want you to stay. Let's go.
Listen, for those of you asking me who these sets of people are, I'm sorry I did not clarify it in my first video, but let me clarify it right now. These are Nigerians in Indonesia. They have been sentenced, or more like they are already facing their deaths. This is the way they actually faced their deaths. These are Nigerians in Indonesia that were found guilty in some kind of crime. I think it was drug pushing as usual. You know. Now, this is the fate of so many Nigerians. There are so many, according to this Reverend Father, there are so many Nigerians awaiting trials to face this same thing. This is their deserved fate. Do you understand? According to this Reverend Father, he said that so many parents come with the pictures. They come with the pictures of their children abroad, of their children in all these countries scattered around the world. Do you understand? Awaiting trials, whom their deserved fate is this. You know, Nigerians, the annoying thing is, like, I see some of these people who are trying to lend counsels to these Nigerians that purport all these things, who eventually face this type of fate, telling them that they should come to a society and study the things that these societies have zero tolerance for. This is not the best counsel to be inferred to Nigerians. No. The best counsel to infer to Nigerians is for them to have zero proceedings, zero leanings, zero favors, zero acquaintance with any form of crime. This should be the advice. I'm not trying to tell them to, first of all, study a society and everything that they do not tolerate. This is not your baby, which means that if you come to societies that tolerate drug pushing, you're very much okay to go with that. I've always sounded, you see, when you come to a society that values money above humanity, these are the things you get. These are the things you get. And this is mostly people from the eastern part of Nigeria, the Igbo tribe, specifically, mostly Anambra people, because in Anambra, you are seen as a human being based on how much money you have. Outside that, nobody regards you. It doesn't matter whether you're a good person. It doesn't matter whether you're good looking. It doesn't matter whether you're eloquent. It doesn't matter whether you're brilliant. As long as you don't have money, nobody regards you. And this is a big problem. This is a big problem. It's uncanny. God help us.
Fellas, the brother spoke. The brother that spoke is Nigerian himself. I think it's very necessary so we can lay the ground to our conversation. He is Nigerian, speaking about his brothers, Nigerians. So it's not a Ghanaian, it's not a Zimbabwean, it's not South African, because I saw when somebody led me to this video, I saw some comments of people saying, why is this South African man insulting Nigerian? And somebody corrected him. You don't even know accents that belongs to Nigeria. So he's calling his brothers to action, if not to retreat a little bit from the negative action. Now, if you look at this again, let me play this again because it's just weird. I mean, look at this image, you know. This is a human being. Do you think this is something else? I mean, maybe it could be a joke. What could this be? What animal could be? Perhaps is this a cow? They're trying to make us believe it's a human being. I don't know. Is this what a big snake maybe folded into 4 parts with the snake, you know, bob and weave this way? I mean, it looks like a head on the ground and feet up. I don't know, and shoes. I don't know. You tell me if you see different. You're reading things differently, perhaps, from me. It looks like a head swinging his last breath, trying to find some strength, perhaps hoping that he's going to break the cable. Or, I mean, how do you free yourself from this? Even if you broke the cables, you are under many plastic bags, wrapped with whatever you call that thing. I mean, nobody else is budging or moving. If you look at the other people are not moving, so they certainly are dead. He's talking about Indonesia. This cannot necessarily be verified by, independent means, but some other relative documentation from the internet confirms this fact, and it's interesting. So let's just explore this. Why Nigerians? I mean, when people speak about these things, when you're not Nigerian, they insult you. They call you mumu. Oh, he's a mumu. He doesn't understand life.
Cali boy, now mumu not too much. You be mumu. You think say they wise? You are a mumu man.
But it's good that a Nigerian speaks about this. Why is it always Nigerians that come back into this type of situation? When you talk about negative things, money laundering, drug dealing, human trafficking, fraud, why is it always Nigerians? I'm just asking. And he specified, I don't know, he said what, East Nigeria or something? He spoke about Igbo people. I don't know if he said East or West. I think he said East. He said specifically about Igbo. And this is not the first time I hear about Igbo people. Not the first time. Okay, I'm not saying it. It's not the first time they say the Igbos are the loudest. That was another person, not the Nigerian, telling me that he was an Igbo. Did he have alternative motives? Perhaps. Well, there is another person who's Ghanaian that said Igbo people are usually the ones that love money the most. Okay, Igbo people are usually the ones, like this guy said right here, that money defines who you are. So you live in a society where you are calibrated, you are celebrated based on how much money you possess. Okay, and what are you going to do? What are you going to do if in the society you live in order for you to have a wife who's decent, or at least is at your type of wives, for you to have her, you must represent something in society. But then Nigeria has big issues. Unemployment, about 50% of the youth have no jobs. There's no opportunities. How do you do to make a life, to make a living? Now, some people may say it's because of the lack of resources and money and stuff and jobs. That's why people go do illegal things. But I will dispute that. Are you telling me everybody that is poor, who has no opportunity, no jobs, will necessarily go do money laundering and drug dealings and human trafficking and fraud? No, I don't think so. You would agree with me on that. You gotta have some sort of a seed, a special seed for you to be, because things are difficult, you're gonna go prostitute yourself. I'm just saying. Why can't everybody prostitute themselves because they're going through a difficult time? Some of them decide to become maids and helpers. I know in some places in the world you have no maids, but in Africa you find maids. Maid is basically a lady, in most cases, that will come to your house and clean and wash the dishes, and you give him a little bit of salary or whatever you call it. But they choose to do that instead of going to the street and selling themselves, which will in most cases give them more money. So it's all about morality. It has nothing to do with the fact that there's no jobs, no opportunities, no whatever, the government is hijacked. Absolutely not. I mean, are you telling me everybody in the country is involved in this? I don't believe so. But why always Nigerians? And it's very sad, because let's just look into this. How about we look into this together? When last did a Nigerian get arrested for human trafficking, for drugs and stuff? Let's check drugs first, okay? We're gonna go on ChatGPT, because I don't want it to come from me. Let's just see what this is about, okay? Latest 10 Nigerians arrested for fraud. You can check that on your computer, okay? So you don't say I'm telling lies. Latest 10 Nigerians drug arrest abroad, okay? Number 1, you can check that on your computer. We have Pascal Dube arrested on July 16, my brother. That's yesterday. July 16, a Nigerian man was arrested in Mumbai with 590 grams of methamphetamine. Number 2, we have 3 Nigerian women. Rina Christina Idoa in Mumbai, June 30. Akinyubi Princess Ofelua arrested in Bengaluru. We have Chukwuma, June 17. We have ex-footballer Segun George Hankunarin arrested in Lagos but coming from abroad, arrived from Turkey via Ethiopia on June 24th with 800 grams of cocaine. Brother, why? I mean, you may say we're telling lies. I mean, you a mumu. Okay, forget about drugs. Okay, let's go on money laundering. Okay, now we have number 1, Adikan Adiapan in the United States of America, Houston, June 26. We have Charles Uchana, Massachusetts, on April 7. Number 3, we have Gabriel Onyeka in India, May 25. Why? Like, in all areas, money laundering, drugs, and stuff like that. And when African says, oh, don't come to my country bringing drugs and selling nyaupe to people, people get upset and triggered. This has to stop. This has to stop, my brother. Money is not everything. I'm sorry. Money is great. It's beautiful, but you cannot sell your soul for money. Look at this guy.
These are Nigerians in Indonesia they have been sentenced, or more like they are already facing their debts. This is the way they actually faced their debts. These are Nigerians in Indonesia that were found guilty in some kind of crime. I think it was drug pushing as usual. Now, this is the fate of so many Nigerians.
Is this how you want to end up? I mean, this is Indonesia. What kind of courage do you need to go into Indonesia? Okay, these people were not, let's be fair, they were not arrested or executed because of drugs. They were executed because of fraud. What the gentleman talks about, it's dropshipping. No, dropshipping is basically being a middleman to a market. You know, a big company or whatever company is selling shoes, you publish it in your dropshipping, people can buy from you, you get the money from them, you buy from the company, and you sell the goods. You know, you make sure the good is shipped. It's a model that works, okay? It's a business model that works very well. Now, unfortunately, Nigerians are very, I mean, you can go double check that yourself so you don't say I'm bashing Nigerians. Oh, we bash people here, by the way, we do bash people here for the good. Never venomous, never poisonous. The goal is to get better. Now, Nigerians create fake stores and fake product. They set up online stores with stolen images and unrealistic prices, like 80% off. They sometimes collect payment via PayPal and direct card, but never fulfill the orders. Who will want that from their country? So they will sell things from one website, one domain, then abandon the domain once they've stolen enough and change another domain. They use sometimes stolen credit card to buy items from dropshipping suppliers, resell and ship to different addresses. Then the card holder disputes the charge. The merchant takes the loss, often unrecoverable. So they make a purchase from stolen card. Then the owner of the card will disagree with the purchase. Then they get the goods and the merchants reimburse the money. I think this is saddening, my brothers. I mean, South Africa don't want Nigerians anymore. They make a lot of noise and people talk about xenophobia, xenophobic Nigerians. Are all South Africans xenophobic? No, they're not. Absolutely not. Are some people xenophobic? Yes, they are. Surely. But why do you give them reasons to be xenophobic if xenophobia is the problem? Wow, look at Kenya. This is Uhuru Kenyatta speaking in Kenya.
Or all foreigners who are either suspected of having engaged in issues to deal with drug trafficking be deported and they go back to their own countries and do their business there. They don't need to be here.
Uhuru Kenyatta was addressing Nigerians in Kenya, saying they come here in our country and they do drugs and they do all those things. We're going to arrest them and send them back to their country. Why they don't do that to Ugandans? Why do you ever hear people say, Angolans people must go back, or Congolese, or Zambians must go back? Why the money laundering, the human trafficking, the prostitution ring, it's always Nigerians? I'm just asking. And don't get me wrong, there are some very fine Nigerians that I've met, engineers, doctors, intelligent people that unfortunately also have to live with this because a bunch of Nigerians, specifically from a very specific place, choose to deter the reputation of everybody. But it's not a small number. I'm sorry. Nigeria is 223 million human beings, and a lot of them travel abroad. Well, let me put it this way for you. A South African person told me, when you go to South Africa, you see the Congolese, the Malawian, the stuff. They do small jobs, like very stupid jobs. Sorry, there's no such thing as a stupid job. But stop. You know what I'm trying to say. You'll never see a Nigerian do that. I mean, it's very rare to see a Nigerian work as a car guard. What's a car guard? A car guard is basically in countries such as South Africa, because there's a lot of crime. A car guard is a person, when you bring your car to park, you go to a restaurant to have a meal, you park your car outside and he says, "Hello sir, how are you doing today? I am going to look after your car." Why? Because, well, there's a lot of crime, small crime that happens. People will break into your car, steal your wallet or whatever you left in there. Therefore, the car guard comes, who sometimes is self-appointed, will stand there around the car, make sure that nobody comes near your car until you come back from the restaurant and you give him a tip. You see Congolese people do that. You see Malawians do that. You see Zimbabweans do that. You will never see a Nigerian do that. But in most cases, Nigerians are doing great in South Africa. Yeah, they're doing good. Well, how are they doing good? Because they're not even in a system, which is, maybe you're going to work corporate. They're not in a corporate system. At least the majority. But the majority are driving nice cars and, and I'm not saying they're all necessarily doing drugs and money laundering, but a lot of them are being arrested for those very same causes. I mean, in Angola, they chased Nigerians. In Congo, they chased Democratic Republic. They sent some Nigerians back. In Uganda, they've changed the law. The rule have changed. Basically, Nigerian went to Uganda, married Ugandan girls, promising them heaven and earth. As soon as they get a passport from Uganda, they travel abroad, they abandon the woman with everything else. They did the same. Accusation from Namibians is very similar. From South Africans, very similar. In the past, Namibians and South Africans used to go to Canada, I believe, and the UK with no visa. Now they don't do it anymore because many people that are arrested in the UK doing money laundering and crazy stuff happen to say they are South African. But if you look at deeply, they have a Nigerian name. How did they acquire the passport? Because it's legal. Because, well, they got married to a South African. Now, is this justifiable as a reason to say South Africans don't want Nigeria in the country? Well, you can understand where they come from. But does this justify hatred? Absolutely not. Now, where do the solutions come from? From South Africans, Kenyans, and Ugandans, or Nigerians? Definitely from Nigeria. Nigeria has to do something about this. These people have to be punished for the things they do, not just abroad, even in Nigeria. If you do something over there, you get arrested, you get back to Nigeria, they put you in jail again. So they must teach them a lesson because this is not good at all. Does that make sense? Lately, I saw a video, I'm not trying to find it for you, where the Ghanaians are tired. They say a representative of Igbo people in Ghana was creating havoc and they must return to their country, and wherever they go, they try to overtake everybody. It's very sad. This is not my opinion. I'm talking about what people say, and you can double check that from yourself. What you would know, some people will tell you, even sometimes you go, that is something I've seen, and I'm not going to make this a generality. I've seen it 3 times. What's happened? I was in South Africa. What I saw in South Africa was, usually they stand on a queue when they want to go to an ATM. Okay, it's not pushy. They're very ordered when it comes to standing on a queue, getting into the bus, into the cinema, whatever service. With first come, first serve. There's no, oh, I'm a big guy, I'm a big man, you're a small boy. There's no such thing in South African society. Is this because apartheid beat them very bad for a long time? Maybe it's a possibility. Is it a positive thing? It is definitely a positive thing. People stand on the ATM, queuing after each other, respect, without saying I came first. Everybody knows who came first, okay? They go to the ATM and get money. Now, there was a guy that just came and passed everybody. What? He wants to get into the ATM, passing everybody. There was like 30 people. People said, no, dude, I stood up. And at that area, there was a lot of foreign people, okay? Foreign Africans. And although for some reason, some Africans feel some type of way, they don't like confrontation. I love confrontation, my brother. I said to my man, you need to go there. Yeah, but me, I came here, I live here. Nobody cares if you live here. If you live here, you should have woken up at 4 o'clock in the morning and come to the ATM. We didn't stand here for you to come and pass us thing. Me, I'm Nigeria, I be Nigeria. And what? You be Nigeria? That's good. And why don't you go to Nigeria and do that? I saw that 3 times myself. Okay? And there was one time, a South African dude that was there, he almost put a thing on that guy. And they say he was what? Xenophobic. What I'm saying is this. We're not going to take away the fact that there are plenty of Nigerians that are fine people, intelligent. They are honest people, living a good life. I'm not going to put all Nigerians together. And I do know the history of Nigeria. Matter of fact, there are many Nigerians from the Biafra that hates Nigeria. Why? Because when the colonialists came into Africa, they created those countries. Nigeria never was Nigeria the way it is today, at least in terms of the map. It was a different thing. They took people by force and forcing them to stay together. Some were actually enemies. They forced them to stay together. That's why people from Biafra don't want to be part of Nigeria, because they don't want to be associated with Nigeria as it is today. We see different tribes. Yeah, can you say people have different behavior based on tribes? Well, maybe it's a possibility. If you see a certain group repeatedly being arrested for very same thing in different places in the world, can you say, okay, maybe you guys have a problem? At least some of you. Let me know how you feel about this. It's always a great pleasure. We're not going to pull anybody under the bus. The goal is to bring everybody together so we can move forward. Of course, you're going to read into the comments. Some people coming, you be mumu. Yeah, you what. But you can't justify that. What is wrong is wrong. What is right is right. And I'm 100% sure there are many Nigerians right here that totally disagree with this. Look at this list of people. For the past 3 months, the list of people, if you look for Ugandans and Tanzanians, you won't find them. They are not there. You're not there. There's something wrong. Something is wrong. You be giant. Nigeria giant. Giant of what? Giant of what? God bless.